Hey guys, here's a quick video on how I clean my infrared sensor on the Aillio Bullet R1. Okay, to start off, I'm going to be using a towel, a Scotch-Brite pad. Usually these are green. I have no idea why mine is brown, but that's no different. I'm using Kefisa, which is made, if you don't know what that is, it's made to clean espresso machines. A lot of people have been using dish soap. I think both are fine. And that's what this is. This is a partial spoonful of Kefisa. It's like a little powder and water. Optional is some isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to go ahead and remove my IR sensor glass, which is not truly recommended or needed, but sometimes some gunk gets behind that little sensor and you take off that glass and use a Q-tip to kind of wipe it off. And then last but not least, I've got my 3mm hex key. Let's get started. Alright, to start off, we're going to need to remove the 6 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the front of the roaster. This whole panel is going to come off. This control panel, I guess, is connected with a wire, so you want to make sure that the weight of the faceplate doesn't pull on that wire, as a lot of people have reported that it gets loose in the back of the faceplate. We can handle that if it happens, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these hex screws. And I guess it's worth mentioning too that a lot of people choose a method of trying to reach in and clean the sensor from inside. Basically, the sensor is roughly right about there on the inside, on the front left panel. I've never tried to do that. A lot of people have had good luck with that. To each his own. Take a look and see if that makes sense to you. I would save this top screw for last, just for the sake of the weight of the panel coming off, so you can hold it until the last second. Okay, so for this last screw, as I mentioned, you want to make sure that you're holding the weight of this faceplate as you release the screw. And I will show you the wire here in a second. Alright. Now the whole faceplate wiggles off, and you'll see we've got the cable to the control panel up here, which is what we want to be careful with. And we got all this gunk, and our sensor is right there that needs the cleaning. Alright, so as a quick reference before, the sensor gets kind of like a gritty texture to it, and when it's clean it'll be nice and smooth and pretty well reflective. So I just take my my soaked Scotch-Brite pad and go to town. Alright, as you can see, it's far from perfect, but I'm going to call that good enough. So this is really the important part. I went ahead and cleaned off this probe as well, and yeah. And just for the sake of the video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to remove the IR glass. Again, this is not something that is suggested, but right here, the glass itself sits in this rubber grommet, I guess. There's no adhesive, there's no screws to remove. This is very flexible, as you can see. So what I'm going to do to remove it is I'm just going to take a little plastic screwdriver and come in right under the edge and pop it out like a coin. carefully. All right. There it is. So I'm going to take my little Q-tip and just swab it in there in case I got any junk in there. Okay. Make sure I don't leave any cotton ball fuzzies behind. And then the glass itself is fairly clean. It's got some fingerprints, but that's after cleaning. So as you put it back in, both sides are shiny. One is darker, like a black shiny. That's going to face out towards the beans like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this off and pop it back in. Just like that. And lastly, before we put the faceplate back on, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and vacuum around this drum. Some chaff gets under there and can build up. So, I mean, while we have the faceplate off, it's easy enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and shop back it out. And we're ready to stick it back on. And we're gonna go ahead and screw the faceplate back on the exact same way we took it off. And we're done.